Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the last video, we learned about variable and how to declare them using var, let, and const. Today we are diving into something that might seem simple but is incredibly important, and it's called as reserved keyword or reserved words in JavaScript. Now you might be thinking, what are the reserved word or keywords? Well, stick around because understanding this will save you from some frustration errors down the road. Now, the first question, what are reserved words? This is important. So, what exactly are reserved words? Reserved words, also called keyword, are especially words that JavaScript has already claimed for its own use. These words have a specific meaning and function built into the language itself. Think of it like this. Imagine you are naming your pet and someone tell you, hey, you can't name your dog as a dog because that's the word we use to describe all dogs. Similarly, in JavaScript, you can't use a certain word as a variable names, function names, or identifiers because JavaScript already used them for something else. Okay. Now, showing you some demonstration or example. Let me try to create a variable with a reserve controls. So, like think let and let equal hello. Okay. Notice what happened. You immediately get an error. Did you see? The error are showing. And it's already mentioning what is the problem. The editor is telling us that let or const is a reserved word. JavaScript is saying, hey, I already use let or const for declaring variable. You can't use it as a variable name. Okay, so let me try another example. Let function equal 25. Same. You get the error. You get the error. Did you see? Variable declare not allow at this location. Okay, and again error, right? Because function is a reserved word used to declare for function. That's why we also can't use this. Then now JavaScript has quite a few reserved word, okay? And they fall into different categories. Let me break down for you. Okay. First is declaration keyword, var, let, const for declaring variable, function for declaring function, class for declaring classes. Okay. Secondly, control flow keyword. Good. Actually, we will cover this in depth in the later future video, but they include if else for condition, switch case, and default for switch statement, for while do for loop, break continue for loop control, return for returning value. And there is a third option, it's called the value keyword, and true false for boolean value, null for represent no value. This null means no value, and undefined represent an undefined value. Another is we also have a module and import export keyword. This import export for ES6 module and for as used for imports. Okay. These are several other like these new delete type of void try catch in of instance of and async await. Okay, this async await for asynchronous programming. and a few more that we will encounter as we progress through in this course. Also, now here is something interesting. JavaScript also has a future reserved keywords. These are words that aren't used right now, but JavaScript is keeping them reserved for potential future use. And those are enum, implements, interface, package, private, protect, public, static. Okay, this is the future reserved keyword. In strict mode, to opt into a restricted variant of JavaScript, these words are also reserved, so it's best to avoid them altogether. Okay, now to coming for the practical tips. Now you might be wondering, do I need to memorize all of those? Honestly, no, you don't need. Modern code editor like this VS Code will highlight reserved word with the syntax coloring. They will immediately show you if you are trying to use a reserved word where you shouldn't. Okay, if you accidentally try to use one, you will get an error right away. This make them easy to catch and fix. Thirdly, um, as you code more and more, you will naturally become familiar with these words because you will be using them constantly. Okay, now the best practice. But here are some best practice when naming your variable and function. One, use descriptive name instead of trying to use short generic word that might be reserved. Use names that describe what your variable hold. For example, let user name is John. Okay. Another user is equal 25 or 35. Okay. Uh, Another is const is logged in true. Follow naming convention. Use camelCase for variables and functions. This makes your code more readable and helps you avoid reserved words. Okay, like we already use this user. Another we can use const calculate total. Okay, equal function. How it works, we will learn it later. When in doubt and context, if you want to use a word like class, you can add a context to make it specific. Okay, like const student class. Okay, this is the valid, and suppose 10 grade maybe. Okay, and this is a valid variables, no problem. Okay, those are the best practice. Please following it, and it will be helpful for you. Now coming for the common mistakes. Let me show you some common mistakes beginners make. Number one mistakes are mm, try to use reserved word as variable names like let return equal 10. Already syntax highlight that this is a this variable declare not allow for the at this location. Okay, because this is a reserved word, return and let. Secondly, let if equal true. This is a wrong. Okay. Another, not realizing that reserved word are case sensitive. JavaScript is case sensitive. So technically you could do this like let. Okay. And hello. And this is a correct. Okay, because you are using the uppercase capitalized form. Okay, that's all. Also you can use suppose const return equal 100. It's also correct. However, don't do this, please. Don't do this. This is a terrible practice. It's confusing, hard to read, and will make other developer very unhappy with your code. So don't use those keyword. Okay, don't be. Now showing you some interesting, I mean real world example. Okay, we already I already show you, and this also working for the real world, but I can show you little more example, so it could be helpful for you. And this will be this. Okay, those are errors, and proper naming will be like this. So must be follow this, and it could be helpful for you. And just practice, because when you are practicing multiple time, this variable name automatically set in your mind. Okay, and there is something. Did you see the difference by being descriptive and avoiding reserved words? Your code is not only error free but also much more readable. All right, let's recap what we learned today. Reserved word are a special keyword that JavaScript uses for its own functionality. You can't use those words as a variable name, function names, or identifiers. Modern editor will help you catch those mistakes. Okay. The best practice is to use descriptive, meaningful names that naturally avoid reserved word. Okay. When in doubt, and context to your variable names. Understanding reserved word might seems like a small details, but it's these fundamental that build a strong foundation for your JavaScript journey. In the next video, we will exploring data type, numbers, string, boolean, null, and undefined. This is where things really start to do interesting. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop a comment below if you have any question about reserved words, or if you have ever run into error because of them. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Happy coding.